Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Nathalie Beauchamp, and I'm co-hosting today the show Empowering Women in Chiropractic. So welcome. I'm excited by ChiroSecure, I have to mention, and thanks again to ChiroSecure for putting such great content with different shows. I always, learn so much from what they're putting out there. So what I'd like to do today is talk about game-changing marketing strategies for chiropractors for 2025. So I have to say that I use my good friend ChatGPT to come up with ideas, and I invite you to do that as well because it's so exciting to have an assistant now to pick its brain on ideas for the clinic. And I always say AI is as good as the prompt that you're prompting into it. But this is something, if you're not using it, you're really missing out. Not necessarily to write everything for you, but brainstorm ideas. And the more specific you are on the prompt, the better results you're going to have. So I did just that. I typed in strategies, and I went back and forth with prompts, and I have come up with 12 strategies that I'd like us to go over. And I have to say that some of them I have not used myself yet, so we can talk about it. But my goal with this show here is just to pique your interest and say, oh, I had never heard of that, and let me dig into it. So I don't have all the answers, but like you, every year I review my marketing strategies because things have changed so much. So we're going to talk about how to, help with our new patient growth, leveraging technology as much as we can, and also building relationship with our current patient, because I think oftentimes we may not have a great recall strategy. And of course, depending on the type of practice that you have, it's always good to keep in touch with your patient. So let's go to the next slide here. So the first one is personalized patient engagement. So you want to really try to be specific on the information that you're delivering to your patient. So we have a twice a month newsletter for our clinic that we do, as well as weekly or twice a month blogs that we do. But I have also created campaigns that are more specific to patients' health issues and concerns. For instance, gut health, stress, hormones, brain health. So I've segmented my list many years ago. Actually, I've done this, and I can be specific to trigger an email campaign that will deliver value specifically to that patient. So it's been really fun to do as well, and people are pretty wowed by it when you have something that's a bit more specific to them. Now, how I dig that information, we do it on the first visit. There's a question that I always like to ask patients. If you add a magic wand, what are the three health related things that you would like to improve? And oftentimes this is when they're bringing their fatigue, their energy, their even headaches or gut issues. Because again, as chiropractor, oftentimes they think of us neck pain, back pain, but obviously we educate them when they're in the practice. But I find that asking that question, you're really able to get a lot more information to help them with value. Now, I've created this campaign way before the rise of AI. So be creative. If you have, I think we do have 8 different topics that we put patient in. And so for some people, it's wellness because they don't have necessarily a particular issue. So definitely something that you can do. I personally use Infusionsoft for segmentation and campaigns. I know every platform, emailing platform, has gone a long way and probably has this segmentation available. The next one, AI power chat box. And this is something that I know I tested a few years ago and I wasn't, too happy about it. But this is what I'm going to bring back to my team this year and see what we can do. Because, to have the online booking is one thing, but answering questions and support, especially if you have a lot of content on your website, there's a way to train your chatbot to be able to answer the most frequently asked questions. So 2 platforms that I've already investigated, but I'm planning on digging is TDO and Intercom. And obviously, ChatGPT also has API abilities. So you can literally train your AI with the content that you have so people can ask specific questions. So cool to have. And I can't reinforce it enough to have good FAQs on your website for everything, because that's what people are searching. So if you don't have extensive FAQ on your website, this is something that you should really comb through your website and see how you can leverage that. The third one, I mean, pretty obvious, social media engagement. I think we do not have a choice to stay active as a business or as a brand. Leveraging platform like Hootsuite. I know we've switched to Metricool. My assistant seems to like this one more. Creating visual content that's appealing. Canva. I mean, I'm in Canva every day creating. My team and I are in Canva every day creating videos. I mean, it's amazing also how it upgrades. They have AI implemented in it and so forth. So it's definitely not as time consuming to create social media content. I know I tend to batch things. I'll meet with 2 of my staff at the clinic off hours, and it's like, okay, we made a list, let's shoot. We just did that a few weeks ago. I think we did 25 little short clips, and they don't have to be long because people don't have a great attention span. So make it relevant to your people, to your patient. We've also done some for each of our staff that they're telling us about them and so forth. So you're making it more personable so people can connect with your clinic and with your brand. Number 4 here is content marketing, and it kind of goes with the previous point here. But if you want to be found online, you really have to put some time and energy in making sure that you post good content. So again, I'm constantly asking ChatGPT, what are people searching? There's a lot of other platforms that you can Google as well, what people are searching, and try to write content that is relevant to what people are looking for. So especially, analyzing the type of practice that you have. So really be specific and be sure that you're focusing on who you want to attract, answering their question, and then giving them valuable content. So it is a great way to, create, make yourself the trusted expert in your community. So very, very important to have blog. It is keeping your website relevant, and it will help for searching for sure. Number 5, this is a brand new one here, but voice search optimization. I'm sure you probably looked at your own behavior. I'm not a big fan actually of voice on my phone, but a lot of people are taking their phone, Siri, Alexa, or whatever they're using, and they're asking. So we really have to make sure that our website and what we design is able to be searchable with voice. So for instance, this is something that I'm in the process of implementing. I've written so many blogs throughout the years, but we are now going to offer blogs with an audio file. Now with AI, you can train your own voice to read the blog, or you can have a voice that you select to read the blog. Because let's face it, a lot of us are listening to things now. Our behaviors have changed. I've noticed that as well for myself. I used to read a lot more books. Now I don't read as much because I'll listen to a podcast while I'm walking with my weighted vest, or if I'm doing chores in the house and so forth. So I am consuming things differently, and other people are. So having your blog available audio, having your frequently asked question is also super important. And from an SEO point of view, make sure that your person that does your website or yourself are using SEO plugin. We used to use Yoast. My new person asked me to change to Rank Map. She said that she really liked that. There's also SEM Rush, which is a powerful SEO tool. So if you don't have someone dedicated for your SEO, depending on the size of your practice or even on your skills, this is another tool that you can use as well. Next here is also kind of tagging on to the previous point, local SEO strategy. So just make sure that the keyword, for the name of your clinic, your address. I live in the suburb of the city, so we kind of have like two names to the city, and sometimes it's written the other way around. So you really want to make sure that your current business information is exactly the same on everything, even if it's the suite number. Are you putting it at the front, or you're adding it to the back? So there's something to be said about the consistency. And then the frequency of the post and the update. Again, we are in 2024, soon to be 2025. We have to stay relevant and post content. And like I said, with the use of AI now to at least give you some ideas of what you want to write about. You can start with AI and then you give it your own twist, because obviously you don't want to put exactly what AI has put, but it just saves you so much time. SEO can also help with engagement with the reviews, because this is something that is so important to have reviews, Google reviews on your website, and creating some engagement with your website as well. And then relevance in business categories. So again, some people hire someone to help them specifically for their SEO. Some people do them on their own. Now, there's a bit of, I would say, controversy out there that with everything AI, SEO is not as important, but I would beg to differ that people are looking for specific things. So you really want to focus on those keyword and long tail sentences as well. The sixth one is called geofencing ads. And this is something that I got familiar with several years ago when we were trying to find creative way to advertise for the Wellness Expo that I was organizing in my city. So geofencing is location-based marketing strategy that allows you to target specific customer. For instance, if beside your office, you have a gym, well, you can specifically target people that visit the vicinity of the gym. So depending where you are, this could be an interesting strategy. Two that were suggested here, Ground Truth and Simply.fi. Again, I haven't tested those, but this is the top two that ChatGPT told me. And I will be revisiting that strategy with my marketing team to make sure that, okay, are we missing out on this? Does this make sense for us? What's the cost, and what can we do about it? For instance, you could, depending on the service, if you have, it could be a promotion on a service or something that you offer popping on the person's phone. So it's pretty amazing how we are connected and how we can make sure that we leverage those tools. A seventh idea is always something that I'm a big fan of, patient loyalty program. So that depends, obviously, not necessarily on chiropractic adjustment. Mind you, it could be that you have a loyalty program when they hit certain, points, 100 adjustment, 200, the people that have been practiced for a long time. I know I often acknowledge the patients like, wow, you've been coming here for, this amount of years. Do you realize that we've had this many adjustments? But it could also be for referral. It could be for products that you're selling. It could be for social media engagement, meaning make a bit of a contest of people that like your posts. I mean, if you have someone on your team that is, I hate to say it, but younger, and just they live on their phone a lot more than maybe the older practitioners do, leverage their skill. And you just have to have clarity on the things that you want them to implement, but leverage the younger people in your office, because it's so easy for them and more natural than potentially us, that there's a bit more of a, oh, I have to do this kind of thing. Plus, we're busy with other things. So be creative, because I think it's important. We often forget our existing patient, and of course they're happy, but what about making them go, wow, this clinic that I go to really cares. They go above and beyond. And it's always nice to get gifted something that you were not expecting. So we all love surprises. So just think of outside of the box. And I know that there's also software that you can, and this is something I investigated a few years back. I decided to kind of keep it in-house with more stamp cards for the vitamins, but there are companies that you can leverage for loyalty programs. So just, again, something else to investigate. Number 8 here is gamification and engagement. And on this one, I have to say, this is something to take in consideration, but depending on where you practice, depending on your the city, the states, the country that you practice, you may or may not be able, depending on your scope for practice. So again, this is me giving you ideas. You have to figure out if it makes sense in your own situation. And I know I'm a big biohacker at heart, and I'm constantly listening to podcasts on this. And a lot of health coaches now use that, the Oura Ring, the Fitbit, the PayPal API to coach their clients. So I'm not saying this is something necessarily that makes sense, but just thinking of what else you can do to leverage. And those are suggestion app Giver, and that I will investigate and see if it makes sense for us to make it fun for our patient. Now, I have used a bit of gamification in our clinic app, and at the bottom, if they do a few things, then they get a swag the next time that they're in. And it's fun because I get notification when people do. And again, it's like I give them a vitamin case when they come in, or a branded coaster, or whatever, right? That we have for merchandise in the practice, and people go, wow. So it's all those touch points that can really make it fun for the patient and engage them even more. Then piggyback on the previous one is the wearable technology. Again, is this something that makes sense for your service? Maybe not. Maybe it's another service that you provide in your practice that it would make sense for that practitioner to use this. But talk about personalized health, because it is going to that. So I think it's important that we keep an eye on it and see what is available and see what makes sense for us to do as well. And then number 10, online reputation management. Those two were suggested, and Google Business API totally makes sense. And Bird Eyes seems like a really interesting platform as well. I know a lot of our chiropractic software now have automated review that you can set to send after 5 visits, 10 visits, 15 visits, and so forth. So we do often have an integration, but if you wanted to dig a little bit deeper for your online reputation management, those are tools that you can use as well. Number 11, interactive content, educate and capture leads. We're thinking here, or we're looking into quizzes, interactive things to really engage, that it is, a posture health score of sorts. I know I have quizzes for headache, I have quizzes for sciatica. And I mean, obviously you're not diagnosing it, but you're pulling together the symptoms that a person may have, and then you can lead them to your headache page and invite them to book an appointment. So keeping it short, you don't want long quizzes. I know I use lead quizzes we have for many years. It's pretty intuitive. And what's cool too is that you can integrate it with your email platform through Zapier, to connect it. So whomever has filled out something, then you can nurture them. And let's remember that it takes more than one touch point for people to get to know you and trust you. So all of those are like, you can go deep into each of the things that I'm talking about, but you got to be patient and you got to be consistent, and you got to make sure that you're really truly giving value to whomever is jumping in. And the last one here is telehealth services. And again, this may not make sense to you at all. Maybe it's for other practitioners in your office, but this is where it is going. It's already there, actually. So making sure that your scope of practice supports it. And I know I have a few friends that do use Doxy and Utter AI as well. You need to make sure that it's HIPAA compliant and whatever we have in Canada. It's a different acronym and I can never remember what it is, but you want to make sure that you are in compliance. But this is all, things, those 12 points are things for you to think about. Do they fit in your clinic model? Can you do it within your scope of practice and so forth? But then I think it's still important for us to understand that this is what is available to our patient, just so we can stay relevant and up to date on what is going on. So hopefully this gave you some ideas to go dig deeper into certain aspect. And if you have any questions, I'm always happy to get on a quick call, to help you with your marketing. I've been coaching chiropractors for years now, and I'm going to be doing even more so as I'm getting further in my career in my practice. So feel free to reach out. So hopefully this got you excited and not overwhelmed to say, okay, I'm going to spend a few hours digging deeper into this. I'm going to spend a few hours, chatting with ChatGPT to say, I'm a marketing expert, come up with a marketing plan. I live in this city. These are the things that I want to focus on, and just see back and forth what sticks, and something you can do with your team, or you bring it to the team to say, okay, those are the, you obviously don't want to do 12 right off the bat because you're not going to do any of them good or well. You got to really take one at a time, but those are all some types of online marketing strategy. So again, thank you for tuning in to Empowering Women in Chiropractic. My name is Dr. Beauchamp Nathalie, and again, thank you to ChiroSecure for putting on these amazing shows for us to stay on trend and current and engaged. Thank you.
Join us each week as we bring you the best in business growth, practice management, social media marketing, networking, leadership, and lots more. If it's about women in practice and business, you'll hear it here. This has been a ChiroSecure production.